Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today. Ward and Cam are actually here to celebrate the 17th episode of the Fat Katz podcast. Oh, Cam, I just realized I didn't even have a mic plugged in. But the boys are back, episode 17. Timestamp guy, today is the 25th of July. Just so if any breaking news breaks out after this podcast, the boys are back. Cam, what's up, brother?
Dear 8-pound, 3-ounce baby Jesus. That's how Ward started out this podcast. It sounded like he's going into prayer. Yeah, we're back. Episode 17. As you said, it's July the 25th. It's 1 o'clock as we record this. So if anything pops out after that, just know we probably didn't have our phones going. But I want to remind everybody, you can find us on Spotify and YouTube, the Fat Katz podcast. That's KATZ. Find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at Fat Katz Pod. Ward,
throwing the threads in there. I like it.
Yeah, man, we've trying to get a little bit more active on that. It's hard to keep up with 3 social medias, believe it or not. But yeah, real quick, I do have a t-shirt update, Ward. We had some more orders roll in at the end of the week last week, so we're going to extend it this Friday. I'm making the order.
Cool.
So for everybody waiting and all that, this Friday we're putting the order in, and we'll get them out as quick as we can, obviously. But Ward, I want to get into how was your weekend and how's your Monday and Tuesday been so far?
Dude, so it's been a great week, Cam. I appreciate you asking. I love how we're getting them digitally involved with all the social media platforms out there. We are keeping our fans engaged. Cam, you are the man. You're doing a hell of a job. Keep doing your thing, brother. T-shirts, can't wait to get them in the mail. Can't wait to rep them on the pod. Can't wait for all of our listeners to rep them on the pod. But no, it's been a great week so far. I've been very busy with work. You know, have a few potential deals that I am trying to close. As every salesman knows, they know it's grind time there at the end. But no, the weekend was good. Got to play a little bit of golf this weekend. Cooked on my Traeger smoker. Made some barbecue. So can't beat it, man. How about yourself, Cam?
Yeah, man, I heard our guest from episode 16 had a rough day on the links this weekend.
We all had a rough day on the links this weekend. We played this course. We played, Cam. I sent you some pictures of it, but it was very long course, and it was long, but it wasn't a driver-friendly long course, if that makes sense. A lot of dogleg lefts, a lot of dogleg right. So a lot of 5 woods, 4 irons, 5 irons were hit this weekend. But no, the fairway was about as thin as a 2-lane highway. And Cam, you know, when you're trying to hit a 300-yard drive and you only have 30 feet of fairway to work with, buddy, it's not going to go in your favor sometimes, especially when there's woods going both ways. So, but we had a good time, man. Can't beat it. It's the most I ever paid for golf, $75, Cam, to play 18 holes of golf to shoot. Broke 100 to shoot a 96. So, won't be going back there again, Cam.
Yeah, 75 is a hefty price nowadays, unless it's like a pristine course up where we went to school or something, which I don't even know if was High Hampton $75 if you have
High Hampton was private. You couldn't get on there. It was 100 G's a year to play High Hampton.
But yeah, man, the golf, I got 1 round in this weekend. Not going to talk about it. We're definitely taking a step back when it comes to the golf game so far, but
no more 43s.
No, I haven't even sniffed that yet. Not even close. But we got the pool open here at the house, man. I've been swimming a lot.
I'm talking about
getting my Michael Phelps on, you know. Watch out for gold here. But yeah, Ward, as we get into it, man, episode 17 here. Let's go ahead and get into one of our favorite segments here. It's First Favorite and Forgotten. So I'm gonna let you have the tee box on this one.
Cam, I love it. Love the introduction, the first favorite and forgotten. I'm gonna go ahead, number 17. Cam, your first was actually my first as well, so I had to change it up a little bit. But I'm gonna go with Madden 24 cover athlete Josh Allen. I kind of have a slight 2 first when I think of the number 17, but Josh Allen was the first, and then the second first was Devontae Adams, former Green Bay Packer and now Las Vegas Raider.
Yep, I like it. Devontae Adams was one of the first guys that came to my mind, but he also wears 7 now, so that kind of put him on the back burner. The first guy I thought of, being such a 2000s junkie when it comes to football, is Philip Rivers.
Mm-hmm.
Not only because he wore 17 for the San Diego Chargers, but also because he's approaching that number of kids. But yeah, Philip Rivers was
he's approaching that number of kids.
He was my first 17 for sure.
As Cam says, Philip Rivers is He is approaching that number of kids. Him and his wife are keeping the last name strong. Not sure how many boys versus how many girls they have, but Cheaper by the Dozen is a movie that was very popular when I was a kid, and that's how the Rivers family does it. But kind of hopping right into it, my favorite is actually going to be a different Phillip Rivers. This is going to be North Carolina State legend, best quarterback to ever come through Raleigh, North Carolina, Phillip Rivers, the number 17 at NC State. He was there in the early to mid 2000s and did his thing. So, well, not mid 2000s, early 2000s. Depends what you classify as mid 2000s. But Phillip Rivers was a dog for us. He had our first 10-win season since the 70s when he was there. So, got a lot of love for Mr. Phillip Rivers.
Ward, you're building your all-time NC State football team. Is Phillip Rivers or Russell Wilson your quarterback?
Man, I don't know. You'll have to come back You'll have to come back to me on that one. It's actually a really good question. Phillip Rivers doesn't claim. What does Russell Wilson claim? There's a bunch of wolves in a pack.
Russell Wilson, instead of saying NC State or Wisconsin, he says pack of Badgers.
Yeah. Well, Phillip Rivers claims NC State hard. So, I mean, you look at longevity. Who's if you're listing all-time quarterbacks, is Phillip or Russell? Who's above? You think?
Phillip comes first for sure.
You think so?
Even
though Russell has a ring.
Yeah, I mean Russell was. I don't know if Russell's ever been a top 5 or 6 quarterback. I think Phillip Rivers was around there for parts of his.
I think that's an arguable take. I'd like listeners, please. So you think Russell Wilson or Phillip Rivers is higher up on the all-time QB list? Please let us know, because I honestly don't know. I can't even argue with you because I have no idea. But I'm going.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to have the numbers in front of me and look at everything. But just off the top of my head, I obviously have a bias towards like 2000s guys. But I feel like Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback than Russ.
Yeah.
But
I would take Rivers over Russ as my NC State all-great team.
I like it. My favorite, although he didn't wear number 17 for my Steelers, he wore 80. My favorite number 17 is Plaxico Burress.
Love it.
Besides shooting himself in the leg, he was a really good wide receiver in the NFL, and another one of those 2000s guys that kind of get forgotten of when you talk about that era of football. But Plaxico Burress was that guy.
Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and add another 17 that I didn't put on here, but wanted to add them in. The face of the franchise when it comes to the Washington Commanders, number 91 on the NFL 100 list. Congrats! Big shout out, by the way, for cracking the top 100 for the first time, Mr. Terry McLaurin. Going to throw him on here as another. I know I have a lot of 17s, but my forgotten this week, Cam, is actually going to be a team. Or it's going to be a player for a team that has drafted 2 quarterbacks in the 2nd and 3rd round the past 2 years. This team is the face of their franchise as a running back. It's the only team in the NFL with the face of their franchise as a running back. But I actually know the Giants, maybe. But I'm going, long story short, Ryan Tannehill is who is going to be my forgotten 17, because I don't know how much longer he's going to be there, Cam.
I like it. Yeah, Tannehill is on the back burner, it seems, when it comes to Titans' minds. But here, wrapping it up, I had 2 for this. I'm going to just give you guys one and then kind of breeze past another one. But Anderson Varejao is my forgotten number 17. People forget, he's the 4 or 5, backup 5 for Big Z on those early LeBron year Cavs teams. The dude played in the league for like 13 years, being a backup big man at like 6'8", 6'9". Best hair in the NBA. Also got yammed on by D Wade before LeBron went to Miami. Anderson Varejao was like the guy that nobody really wanted in the 2K games or the NBA Live games, but he was like a 78 overall, so somebody always had him. But and lastly, real quick, Andrew Bynum was another forgotten number 17. Went toe-to-toe with Shaq for 2 years, got hurt, went to the 76ers, never heard of again. But as we get into it, same kind of go through the show the same way as Fans Fat Takes. Obviously, first top stories. We got a lot of top stories to cover, and then we're going to be UFC heavy for the rest of this podcast. Obviously, we're going to have a catch draft, pet peeve of the week, full plate, empty stomach, or back. But getting into it, man, Justin Alford at the top of the list every week, Ward. We love it, man.
Top of the list, man. Shout out Justin.
As hard as me and Ward work on this podcast, Justin Alford works just as hard to get good comments out. Second week in a row, he's correcting one of the hosts here, Ward. He said he hates to correct the homie Drew while he's hyping up former Clemson Tigers, but the trio was Sammy Watkins, D Hop, and Taj Boyd, which I thought that, but I didn't want to correct him and be wrong. I believe that was the team that actually lost 70-13 to the West Virginia Mountaineers in one of the bowl games, Ward. But
love to hear that.
We'll slide past that. Hopefully Justin doesn't pull any punches on that. But Watson was obviously post Watkins and D Hop era. He says he hopes the D Hop is able to make some noise on the Titans, but he's not too confident in that offensive system. Join the club. I don't think anybody is confident in that offensive system. Maybe he can break the curse that was put on Moss, Johnson, and Jones. And then he said, Ward, I can't lie. I heard the Jason Aldean song on the radio the other day and thought it was very corny. I can't lie. I thought the same thing. I do want to say Ward said that song before all the controversy broke out.
I will. Yep. To add on that too, I had no idea what that song was about to get into. I heard it. I'm a big Jason Aldean guy. I'm like, hell yeah. Jason Aldean new song. I listened to it. I liked it. And then now all CMTs canceled Jason Aldean. All the country singers half of them are backing Jason Aldean, half of them are not, with the go woke, go broke culture we're in. But yeah, I didn't know the controversy. So if I offended any of our fans, I'm sorry. I stand by it. I think it's a great song. Don't get me wrong, and I stand by everything they say in it. But yeah, if I pissed any of the fans off, I'm sorry.
But he did say, on the other hand, I hit my PR squat listening to Iron Man by Black Sabbath, so love that pick. And obviously, I don't know if many people get to this part of the show, but this is our last segment. It's called Song of the Week, if you don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he hit his PR to that. He said War Pigs is another classic by Black Sabbath. I agree. And he also said he was waiting on you, Ward, to drop the Alfred Morris 1,600-yard season in the one-year wonder draft last week.
I dropped Alfred Morris. It might have been, was it last week or the week? No, it was the week before. What did I drop Alfred Morris in?
It was one of the running backs draft.
Yeah, it was the running backs draft, what it was. Yeah. But no, great. Justin, great take there. I love it. I should have dropped Alfred Morris, Redskins legend.
But moving on, we've got Reed Fern, who is an honorary member of the Highlands Hooligans from college. He texted me, he said, I know it's mainly a football and basketball pod, but no mention of the historic Wimbledon. Could not care less about tennis, Ward. I don't know.
No, me neither. Reed, I really appreciate the comments, but dude, I couldn't even. Rafael Nadeed, the greatest tennis player ever, apparently. I couldn't even tell you his name. So not a tennis pod, Reed. Sorry, buddy.
He also said, I know you boys like golf, no open preview. I will say we had that on the notes. We had to get out of there. Drew had a time constraint, so we kind of pushed that to the back burner. And then he said for the one-year wonder draft, he said he's not sure if coaches count, but if they do, he wants Ed Ogeron on that list. He was obviously mediocre at USC and Ole Miss, then coached one of the greatest college football teams in the history of the sport, and then gets kicked out 2 seasons later for sleeping with students.
Reed, I love it, man. That's a really good take.
I like that. I didn't even think to put coaches on there. The coaching tree could have been large.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't have a hat on, Reed, but hats off to you. I love it. Coach O had the greatest football team that I've personally ever seen. He did coach, and then now he's about to be Northwestern's next great head coach up there in the Big Ten. So we'll see, buddy.
Could you think of a worse culture match for Northwestern than Ed Ogeron? Those people, you think me and you couldn't understand a word. Those people in Chicago will have no clue what that man is saying. But
I love it, man.
Our guy Logan Shoop says the big dogs are back again. I want to say the big dogs never left Logan, but I appreciate the comment. Logan has been a loyal listener since day one. We love Logan on it. We give him a hard time sometimes. We love Logan Shoop on the Fat Cats.
Yeah, no doubt. I know Logan, he's been I'm gonna pull up my Snapchat to see him a video of this. I know Logan's been roasted a couple times on this podcast, but Logan, we appreciate the love. We appreciate the comment. Keep bringing it on. One day, if you ever want to talk about the Lakers and how they're going to get knocked out, might make the playoffs in the West next year, but probably get knocked out in the first round. If they do make the playoffs, we'll talk about that. But yeah, love to comment, brother.
Last but certainly not least, Mama T joining in the conversation again. Now, this is a funny kind of comment where she said, Drew's pet peeve of the week, .. Hashtag preach, praise hands emoji.
What was Drew's pet peeve again?
I think it was people driving in the left lane.
It is the left lane, yeah.
Which, if you know my
Or
mom,
was, or was that yours?
no, that was his.
Okay.
My mom has gotten a great deal of speeding tickets, so she's on the right wave here. But this just reminded me of a Facebook post for some reason, and she said, "And sorry, Ward. ... I'm team boneless wings. Great job, guys." She also told me, Ward, she's noticed that I wear the same hat every
You
podcast.
do. I've noticed that too.
I didn't until she brought it up. I will say I have more than one hat, I promise. But this is
There's all the same design.
Yeah, it's my favorite hat. So I just wear it almost every day. I wear this hat when I don't have a haircut. So thanks for making me a little bit self-conscious about my hat choices, Mom. But yeah, and as we get into it, we're moving to top stories.
Hey, one more comment. Mama T ... You're making the wrong choice when it comes to your wing choice. But anyway, I want to start a poll for all of our listeners. Somebody, please, if our next YouTube video gets over 10 likes, everybody, please like it if you listen to it. If we get over 10 likes, next pod, Cam's not wearing a hat.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
You'll see what Cam really looks like. He has a head of hair on him now. But we'll get those likes up there. 10 likes, you're gonna see hatless Cam next.
I want to say, on that point, guys, please leave likes, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. One, it gives us more to talk about. It gives us more to engage with you guys about, but it also makes it look better. There's nothing more frustrating as a guy who has a podcast to see 150 views and like 3 likes.
3 likes.
So please, guys, just leave a like, leave us 5 stars on Spotify, all that good stuff. That'll be the last time we talk about this podcast.
Yep.
But as we get into top stories, Ward, this is the biggest story in sports by far. It's not really our wheelhouse, but the Saudi football club Al Hilal has offered Kylian Mbappe a 1-year, $776 million contract to play 1 year for their football team. This contract also includes a $332 million transfer fee to PSG to buy out his contract, Ward. This is a $1.1 million contract for 1 year to play soccer.
All right, I'm gonna be honest, Cam. I said I didn't really know about covering this. I didn't know it was that much. I know Saudis, that oil money must be ripping right now because I know they're paying the live golfers a bunch of money, but I know who Kylian Mbappe. I don't know. I couldn't tell you who he is. I know he's I think he's on the FIFA cover 1 year, but yeah, this is unheard. I know soccer's big. We live in the U.S. We don't really know how big it is, but one player, $776 million. Wow. For 1 year. Wow.
For 1 year. And this has obviously become the biggest contract in sports. Messi is the second highest contract award, and it was $564 million, I believe. Don't quote me on that. It was around $550 million contract for 1 season.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, Cam. I've gotten a lot of hate over this because I get an argument. All my coworkers are big soccer fans, and I think it is absolutely ridiculous that soccer. I would say I put soccer at the 5th biggest sport in the United States. Football is bigger, basketball is bigger, baseball is bigger, hockey's bigger. Hockey and soccer may go hand in hand. I don't know. I'm more of a hockey fan than a soccer fan. And for a player that plays in the U.S., Messi now plays in Miami, making over $500 million as a 5th sub-style sport in the U.S. is unheard. He's making more money than LeBron James. He's making more money than Tom Brady ever made. You look at the big names in sports right now, Messi is double, triple their contracts, which I think, I don't know. I'm a U.S. sports fan, so not a big deal with that, but other people. What's your opinion on that?
I don't really get bothered by it. The only reason is because soccer is the biggest sport internationally.
Yeah.
So I think that was more of a move of let's get more international fans watching the MLS, watching Miami FC. If you can get this much money, go get that much money. If I had an opportunity to make $776 million to go play soccer in Saudi Arabia for 1 year, you best believe I'm doing it, Ward.
You think that Messi should make more than Patrick Mahomes? First name that comes to mind. Patrick Mahomes is the top of his game in the biggest sport in the U.S. You think Messi should make more money than him?
If I was paying an athlete, no. But I'm not making those decisions, and also I don't watch soccer that much. So like it's not really like it'd be asking me like, would you rather pay $100 at Ruth's Chris or $12 at McDonald's? I don't eat at Ruth's Chris, so I'm gonna pick McDonald's. But
Valid point. Valid point.
talking about people getting paid, and this is a little bit out of order, but I want to talk about Jaylen Brown, Ward. He became the highest paid player in NBA history. He's not even the best player on his team. They call him one-hand Jaylen Brown now because he doesn't have a left hand. He got a 5-year, $304 million contract. I know you have some thoughts on this. I have some thoughts on this, but I'm going to let you have it.
I don't know. I didn't think, he should get paid. Not this much. I mean, this guy, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I texted our group chat of all our buddies from college, and I said, this guy just got paid. He's not even the best player on this team, and he's the highest paid player ever. I mean, I think he has the biggest contract ever. And what is it? You said 5-year, 320?
304.
It's just insane. But I mean, he's the highest paid player. In 2 weeks, somebody else is going to get paid. It's just, I don't think he should. Personally, I don't think he's. I don't know. What's your opinion on it? You probably have a better take than I do.
Well, I'll say right now the new TV deal for the NBA is about to come through. There in a couple of years, there's going to be guys getting paid $600 million contracts in basketball. Jaylen Brown, to me, is one of the top wings in the league. I don't know if I could pay him this much money, not even being the best player on the team. But you've got two of the best wings, young wings in the league. I understand paying these guys as salary cap in the NBA is kind of a weird thing where you have like mid-level exceptions and all this stuff. So I understand it. I wouldn't have paid him this much, but you got to do whatever you can to keep this guy on the roster because you don't want him to walk for nothing, Ward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Right. We do have some sad news real quick to cover. Bronny James, right before we came on the podcast, suffered a cardiac arrest at a USC basketball practice, Ward. First of all, prayers to him and their family. Mm-hmm. But this is a weird thing. This is the second time in 2 years that this has happened to a USC basketball player. I don't want to get into, the reasons why we think that, but I do want to make it a point that this is the second 19-year-old freshman to come in and have cardiac arrest on the basketball court. But like I said, prayers to him and that family. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have anything to add on to that, Ward, but super sad.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't want to. We'll talk more on it later. It's so fresh. Prayers to you and your family, Bronny. I hope everything gets better. I honestly, I don't know. It's sad. I wonder what caused it, though. It's 18, 19-year-olds don't have. I mean, I get it can happen to anybody, but 18, 19, you don't just you don't go into cardiac arrest.
Another kind of sad piece of news is Nyheim Hines is out for the season in a freak accident where he got, I believe he was hit on a jet ski, and he's going to be out for the season. That's a big loss. He's a backup running back, but for him that sucks. Like to be so close to the season and have that happen. I know for him too. He was supposed to have a huge role because Devin Singletary left. Devin Singletary's on the Texans now. I'm not sure if they signed anybody. Did they? I don't think they did. I think they've got
I know they have James Cook.
Yeah, Cook, but Cook and Zach Moss maybe. I think.
Yeah, but I know Nyheim. He's a big receiving back, and they throw the ball 70-75% of the time, but which is sad to see. Nyheim Hines is an NC State guy. He's actually from Raleigh. He has a big footprint here in the community. He does a lot for the Boys and Girls Clubs here in Raleigh. So, and the YMCA is here in Raleigh. But, Nyheim, hate to see it. Heal up, get better, come back even stronger.
Yep. We had the running back talk last week, Ward. Saquon today signed a 1-year, $11 million contract.
He caved.
He caved one, and this also gives them the opportunity to franchise tag him next year. So, Saquon's agent, I think he might want to go get a new one, big dog. But like we talked about to a large extent last week, is the running back position is so undervalued for good reasons in some aspects, but a high-end talent like Saquon only getting $11 million could make somebody sick to their stomach almost.
Yeah. I saw a video last night of somebody that actually went to Saquon's house and was yelling at his front door saying, "Please, Saquon, please." Maybe that's why he signed. Who knows?
Yeah, that guy is a master negotiator. If that's the case. Real quick, Chris Jones holding out at Kansas City camp. Super far away on contract numbers, I guess. Chris Jones is one of the most dominant interior
Mhm.
defensive linemen in the league. That's a guy you want to have on the field, but the holdout man for the contract is a big negotiating tool.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
By the way, he's getting fined $20,000 a day that he misses practice.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So another piece of news: Jordan Addison got caught going 140 miles an hour in a 35 ward. You'd think he went to UGA with those kind of numbers, but 140. They asked him why. He said he had dog issues.
Yeah, that's what I saw. His dog was having like a medical emergency or something like that. I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, it's pretty fast, man. I don't know if you go 140 for your dog having a heart attack, but hey, maybe my truck doesn't go that fast, but I don't know.
For all you dog lovers, we will be having some dog talk at the end of the podcast. I've got a super interesting situation that popped up, but last thing on kind of top stories, Ward, there's a weird thing going on at FAMU, Florida A&M University. Their football team has paused all football activities. Some of the players, Ward, snuck in and let a rapper film a video in their locker room. Super vulgar language, obviously, and he wore their helmets, their pads, their jerseys, everything FAMU. So it looks like the university signed on this. They didn't. So the football team, they're no practices, no film sessions. No, they're getting to the bottom of Rapgate.
That's I first saw this and I was like, damn, Kodak's going wild out there in Florida. But you informed me that it was not Kodak. It was an up and coming rapper. But yeah, I can see how that'd be pretty bad for the school, for the rapper. Hats off to you, man. That is, you can't ask for any better marketing than that, because it's all over ESPN, and people, first thing they're gonna think of, oh, I wonder what rapper that is. Then they're gonna look that guy up. That video is gonna go through the roof. It's gonna be on Rap Caviar this week on Spotify. If anybody knows about the Rap Caviar Spotify playlist, that song's probably gonna be number one. So shout out to the rapper.
So Ward, this kind of raised the question for me: was it worse that they broke in and they snuck in and let him film the video, or is it worse that he was wearing FAMU gear?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. I think probably, depending on what the context is of the rap song and what the music video looks like, that could look bad for a school, man. For a school, for an educator, like that'd be like Western Carolina making rap videos, and then coming to us being, hey, you want to come to school here? I mean, yeah, we wouldn't care, but there's going to be a certain audience that will not come to school because of that. But I don't know. It might make people want to go there now.
Not just the rapper. I will say this: not just the rapper. There's females and football players in the music video as well.
Okay.
So a large group of people. I think, to me, if it was in the locker room, no FAMU gear like is shown, it's probably a less of a story.
Yeah, but if since gear's on.
But as we move on,
I can tell you one thing, Cam. If I'm the recruiting coordinator at FAMU, I am blasting that video out to recruits saying, "You want to live this lifestyle? Come on."
Don't show this to your mama and your daddy, but do you want to live this lifestyle?
Breaking: Arch Manning transfers to FAMU.
That would be hilarious. But huge weekend, Ward, for UFC. We got 291 coming up on Saturday in Salt Lake City. The Mormons are getting a hell of a card, I'll say that.
But it is going to be a card, man.
We've got Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje 2 for the BMF title. We've got Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira. We've got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Michelle Pereira. We've got Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green, Michael Chiesa, Kevin Holland, and the co-main event of the prelims, Ward, shows us Derek. I think we've lost.
Oh, I hear you now. I lost you for a second. Our Wi-Fi went out. Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
sorry,
cool.
fans.
But where did I leave off at, Ward?
All I heard you say was the co-main of the main event of the prelims was Derek Lewis and then Marcos.
Yep. So Derek Lewis taking a fall from grace, Ward, just a couple years ago. He's headlining pay-per-views.
Yeah.
He's the co-main of the prelims. But Ward, I want your thoughts on this card overall, and then obviously we're going to give our picks. We're 3-2 so far. when
we
it comes
are.
to UFC.
The Fat Cats are 3-2, and that's when we agreed. I'm sure we're going to have stuff we're going to disagree on. But Cam, I like the format. I want to run this by you. I say we go fight by fight. We'll start off with the BMF fight, and then we'll work our way down, and we'll kind of do our own analysis of each fight, and then we'll give our own pick. Cool with you?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Perfect. You want me to start off?
Yep, go ahead.
One, hell of a card. Hell of a card. I can't believe Salt Lake City got this card. I can't believe it's not in Madison Square Garden or Vegas because of the two heads or the two names that are headlining it. They're two of the biggest in the UFC right now. But Poirier Gaethje, if you are not a UFC fan, go watch the first fight, and I promise you this, you will be a UFC fan. These guys are both warriors, man. Both these guys, I mean, I promise you that it's going to go, I don't know how long it's going to go, but I promise you there will not be a decision in this fight. And these guys are both going to get caught. They're probably both going to get dropped. They're going to be blood everywhere. It's going to be a fight, man. It's going to be a war. But I'm going to give my pick, Cam. And the reason why I'm picking this guy is because in his last 3 or 4 fights, I've picked against him, and it always comes back to backfire on me. I will never bet against Dustin the Diamond Poirier. He has proved me wrong so many times. This guy is a warrior, and he goes out and he does his thing. So obviously, I know he got beat by Charles Oliveira recently, but that was 2 fights ago. He just beat Michael Chandler, which was an absolute war, by the way. But yeah, I'm going with Poirier here, Cam. It's going to be a knockout by whoever wins this fight. It's going to be a knockout. Couldn't tell you around, but I'm taking Poirier.
Yeah, and real quick on the whole card, if you're not a UFC fan, this is the card to watch. There's no title, like real titles on the line, but this is a card full of dudes that are just gonna throw haymakers at each other and warriors. There's no real technical striking. These guys all get in there and they just fight their asses off. So this is a card you want to watch if you're not a UFC fan. With that being said, I like Justin Gaethje in this fight, Ward. I'm not a huge Poirier fan, as you know.
Yeah,
he's proved me wrong
at all.
he's proved me wrong a lot of times, but I just can't go with the swamp trash on this one. I'm going Justin Gaethje for the BMF title.
And I honestly hope Justin Gaethje wins. I'm not a big Poirier fan. Just some of the stuff he says, I don't really agree with. I am a big Justin Gaethje fan, but dude, honestly, I have two. While we were talking, I just put up the odds. So Poirier right now is a -125 favorite. If that tells you how close this fight is, they don't even know. It's pretty much a pick 'em.
Yep, basically a pick 'em.
Yeah, but so the co-main is going to be. Cam, you're going to have to come behind me and say the names. I always mess this name up. Jan Blachowicz, or Blachowicz. How did I say it right?
Jan Blachowicz.
Jan Blachowicz. There it is. Jan Blachowicz versus Alexander Pereira. And Alex Pereira is the one that, obviously, as you know, came in, beat Izzy at 185, knocked him out in their first fight. And the second fight in the UFC, he was winning the whole fight, then got caught by a vicious right hand, and then Izzy cut one of the best promos ever post that fight. But this is Alex Pereira's first fight at 205. Going to be very interesting. Jan is very good, as everybody knows. He's a former 205 champ. And if I had to bet money on this fight, Cam, I'm going to take Jan just because Jan has wrestling. Alex Pereira has absolutely no wrestling background. I think this fight's going to be very similar to Israel Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz, where they stand and bang for 1 round, 2 rounds, then the rest. This is a 3-round fight, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. These guys are going to stand up for maybe the first round, and then after that, Jan's going to use his wrestling, and he's going to go to the decision and take it 2-1.
Yeah, as much as I respect Alex Pereira, and I really do like him, even though I'm a huge Izzy fan, I think he's awesome. This is your first fight at 205. You're moving up in weight. The guys at 205 don't drop as easy as the guys at 85. Jan has the Polish power, as he calls it, the legendary Polish power. He can catch you with the right hand. And for that reason, I'm going to go Jan. He's really a true heavyweight, if we're being honest.
Yep.
But I'm going to go Jan because what you said, the wrestling, but also the ability to land the right hand.
Awesome. And I want to throw this out there too. I didn't say this when we were talking about this fight, but you heard it here first on Fat Cats. Good God, I can't talk. You heard it here first. The loser of Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier retires after UFC 291. Calling it right now. They will never fight again. they're going to retire. I don't know if they'll fight again in another organization for a cash fight, but they will not. I personally think they will not fight again in the UFC just because they don't really have any road to the championship. But going on to fight number 3, this is shout out to my Uncle George, but this is his favorite fighter, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Michael Pereira. And if anybody has ever seen Wonderboy fight, he is a stand-up, unorthodox kickboxer, and he karate technically. But Wonderboy's good, man. He's old, but he's the NMF nicest mother effer, because he is a very nice guy. He said he wants that belt, but I'm taking Wonderboy just because I've seen Pereira fight a couple times. He is a very unorthodox Brazilian, and he's very good. Don't get me wrong, and Wonderboy could absolutely get caught, but Wonderboy is from America. I'm going USA here. I'm taking Wonderboy.
If you want to watch a fun fight, this is it. You've got, I mean, if you're looking for spinning back kicks, all this stuff, Superman punches, all this, like, these are the guys.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Wonderboy, obviously, you said karate guy. Michelle Pereira is like, he's the guy that does backflips to get to guard. Like, he is insane.
Is it Michelle?
Yeah, it's Michelle.
I messed that one up. Sorry, Michelle.
I'm rocking with Stephen Wonderboy, though. For the reason you said is, one, I love Wonderboy, but two, I'm always going to rock with the American when I don't have any personal bias towards any guy. So two picks in a row here, we're agreeing, but I'm gonna go Wonderboy here.
We are. I'm making a note in the Excel doc too, so we can go in. We have agreed on 2 picks, which is pretty rare. Usually we do disagree on a lot, but today we are agreeing, Cam. But going on to fight number 4. Tony Ferguson versus Bobby Green. Tony Ferguson is 0-4 in his last 4 UFC fights. Bobby Green is just a legend of the sport. He's been there forever. He is the absolute. I don't know if you consider him a gatekeeper or not. He's like a lower rankings gatekeeper. He's always somewhere ranked in between the 10th and 15th spot. But haven't seen who the last person I saw Bobby Green fight. And if anybody doesn't know who Bobby Green is, he has tattoos all over his head. You look at him, he's the definition of a UFC fighter, or he's the definition of a fighter. But Cam, I'm actually going to take Tony Ferguson here. I feel like this is a bounce back fight for Tony. And I think if Tony loses after this, the UFC cuts him. I don't think Tony is ready to get cut by the UFC yet. So I'm going to take Tony Ferguson.
So we have a disagreement here. Tony Ferguson has looked terrible his last 4 fights.
He did. He has.
Bobby Green lost his last fight, but he always goes to war.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was on a 3-fight streak before that. Bobby Green also trains with the Diaz brothers, so he's Stockton through and through. I'm gonna go Bobby Green here. TKO 5th round.
5th round or 3rd round?
I mean, 3rd round. My fault. 3rd round.
Cool. All right. Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. This one I think is going to be it's pretty much a pick 'em because both these guys' styles are completely opposite. Michael Chiesa is a very outstanding jiu-jitsu guy. He's actually who's jiu-jitsu. He trains with Brian Ortega. Brian Ortega is a big jiu-jitsu guy as well. Michael Chiesa is also very tight with the Khabib Russian boys. So if anybody knows the bus incident with Conor McGregor smashed Michael Chiesa with a dolly and got blood all over him. But anyway, first Kevin Holland, as everybody knows, Kevin Holland is a stand-up guy, and I think stand-up's more exciting. I have absolutely no idea who's going to win this fight. This is a pick 'em, but I'm just going to take Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland's been more active lately.
Yep, and I agree with the analysis there. I've watched Kevin Holland for a few fights after COVID when he kind of was on the up and up. I saw him get laid on for 3 fights in a row. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, I'm going to go Michael Chiesa.
Great pick, Ward.
As Ward types this out, we'll move on real quick. Last fight we're going to cover, really just because of the name. We usually don't do prelims, but Derek Lewis versus Marcos Rogério de Lima. Ward. I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. Derek Lewis bounces back here. I'm taking Derek Lewis.
I got Derek Lewis too. USA in this hope.
Love it. So that's our picks. If you want to lose money, probably tell us. If you don't, probably fade us. We're probably one of the most evenly picks we've had. I think we had 3 that we agreed on and 3 we didn't, Ward. So
yeah, we're doing good, Cam. One of us are gonna have some bragging rights over the other here when it comes to our pod next week, Sunday morning when we call each other.
Yep. So as we said, we're 3-2 right now with the option to add 6 more wins or losses or somewhere in between there. That's our UFC talk. Let us know in the comments who you guys have. Any locks that you guys have, any betting that you guys like, let us know. But as we kind of get to the tail end of the show here, we do have a Fat Cats draft award, and we previewed this on the Instagram. But this week we're doing most dominant athletes, regardless of sport. We're doing most dominant. You can do primes, careers, whatever. We're doing most dominant athletes though. This week I'm taking the honors of the first pick, and with the first pick, I'm going to take Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain with
Right.
100-point game. He's got some of the best averages in league history. He's almost like a folklore award when it comes to NBA. Like, there's not really any video of him playing, but he's got all these crazy stories that you hear of. I'm going to go Wilt the Stilt as the most dominant athlete.
Great pick. And I'm going to also go with my number 1, obviously. And Cam, this one's going to be a little different. So most of my guys, I have a couple guys on here that I haven't really watched, but most of my guys are going to be people that I've watched. This individual right here is the undisputed number 1 at their sport and has been the number 1 at their sport for well over 15 years. This person is still active in their sport. This person was the youngest, this is going to give it away, the youngest UFC champion ever at his sport. This person has more title defenses than most people have UFC fights in their sport. This person has beat everybody. This person has never lost. This person has held a belt at light heavyweight and at heavyweight in the UFC. He's the baddest man to walk the face of the earth, and his name is Jon Jones. I think Jon Jones has been the most dominant person that I've ever seen in any sport, and that may be a controversial topic or not. I'm a big Jon Jones fan, but I'm taking Jon Jones as my number 1.
Yeah, I think you're crazy personally if you don't think Jon Jones is the greatest fighter to ever walk on this earth. Honestly, I think you're crazy if you don't think he's the baddest dude to ever walk on this earth.
Imagine walking the streets just knowing there's not a single man on this earth that can do anything to me. Exactly. Outside of shoot me.
Yep. I think people take, the steroids and the drugs kind of out of context. I mean, obviously he was definitely on drugs, possibly on steroids, but we don't know for sure. But regardless, he was the baddest dude at 205. Yep. He's the baddest guy at heavyweight. He's the greatest fighter I've ever watched. So absolutely. I like that pick, Ward. In his own respective sport, he's the GOAT to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with basketball here, Ward. I'm going to go Shaq at my 2. Shaq, probably the most dominant. Him or Wilt are the most dominant players of basketball. Obviously 7'1", 350 pounds. I think he's the most dominant player ever of the 2000s. So I'll take the 2 most dominant centers in the game.
Love it. Cam, I'm going with my number 2. This is a sport that me and you don't do too much. You mentioned this individual at the very beginning of our podcast, but this guy also had his drug problems during his time on the top. But I'm going with Mr. Weed Smoker himself, Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps has 28 total medals representing the United States, and 23 of those 28 are gold. Michael Phelps holds 3 world records in swimming. I don't know if it's backstroke or freestyle, whatever you call it, but I'm going with Michael Phelps as my number 2.
Yeah, he was on my list. He's going to be my next pick, so we're thinking on the same wavelength. Here for 3, and you could honestly you could make the argument he should be 1 or 2 for me, but I'm going to go Tiger Woods, man. The guy transcended golf. He made golf cool. He's won 15 majors. He's the second all-time in majors behind Jack Nicklaus. He's got the lowest average score in PGA history, and he's also the youngest player to win the Grand Slam title, which is 4 majors in your career. And he's only one of 5 guys to do that in the sport. So Tiger Woods is my 3 here, Ward.
That's great. I had him on mine, just crossed him off. My 3, I'm going to go with a individual that has also never lost in his career. He has more money than anybody ever has in the history of his profession. And he has money in his middle name, Cam. His name is Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. Floyd Money Mayweather Jr. Let me clarify that. He is 50-0 in professional fights. I think he's had 2 or 3 in the past couple years, money fights that don't count technically against his record. Logan Paul, he fought somebody in Japan or China a couple weeks ago, but Floyd Mayweather is the GOAT of his sport, and he is the most proven and I guess that's how you say it. He's he's won the most belts at his weight class in his sport.
Yep, Pretty Boy Floyd there. I will say not on my list, but great pick. I didn't even think about him until you said money, and I was like, oh man, how did I miss this guy? You have an Olympic athlete. I'm going to put in an Olympic athlete here at 4. I'm going to go Usain Bolt. He's probably the greatest sprinter ever. He's got the 100-meter record. And he's got 8 gold medals.
It's great, Cam. I had Usain Bolt as well. I had to cross that one off. I'm gonna go with another individual that's the top person in their sport, and this one's non-debatable at all. Cam, I know I give a little pretext of each person I said just to so you can think about it a little bit. This individual is not actively playing anymore, but we saw this individual play. He has won 7 championships in his sport. He is the undisputed GOAT of his sport and arguably the undisputed GOAT of all sports. His name is Tom Brady.
Yep, I had that one on the ready for you. I knew you were going to take him, so I left it for you. For my last pick, I'm going to go a guy who I think is the GOAT of his sport. I think he's the greatest player to ever touch a basketball.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go LeBron James here. When you talk about a 20-year career, man, he's a scoring leader in NBA history. He went to 11 straight finals, Ward. This guy's, to me, is the greatest basketball player ever. He can play 1 through 5. He can shoot, he can dribble, mid-range, whatever you want from this guy, he's got it. I'm going to go LeBron James as my 5th most dominant athlete here.
Love it. So, Cam, you're actually making me revert now to my honorable mention. But my 5th greatest athlete of all time, and Cam, I don't know if this gives it away. I'm just going to say Lowe's Hardware, my friend. Lowe's Hardware. You're from Charlotte. Charlotte is the Hall of Fame of NASCAR. This individual won 5 championships, 5 Sprint Cup Series championships in NASCAR, ranging from the years 2006 to 2010. There's only been 2 other individuals in the sport to do that. This individual has the most wins out of any racer ever in NASCAR history. He also is the number 48. He is a big Chevy Camaro guy, and his name is Jimmy Johnson. And I met Jimmy Johnson, by the way. I met Jimmy Johnson when I was working as a bellman at High Hampton in college. Very cool guy. And he's very small, too. NASCAR drivers are very small.
I like it. I will say, man, you dropped Casey Kane a few episodes for number 9. I didn't think we'd have any more NASCAR talk on the podcast.
Hey, big shout out to my pops, man. My dad's a huge NASCAR fan, so
I like it. Do you have any honorable mentions you want to get out of the way, Ward?
Nope, all my honorable mentions are gone.
Okay, so I have a few here. Some of them are a little bit of a stretch. Some of them could have been on the list, but I've got Serena Williams. I've got Barry Bonds. I've got Randy Moss. I've got Rob Gronkowski, Ray Lewis, Troy Polamalu, and Ndamukong Suh as my honorable mentions.
Awesome.
We did have a comment today. I forget who it is, and I'll give him a shout out once I figure out who it is. But somebody texted me. I put a preview of this on the Instagram, and he said Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is really good at football.
Absolutely not. Michael Parsons is 3 years into the league.
I can't put him on this list yet, but I told him I'd give him a mention.
He has a chance to be up there, but nowhere close to being on the list yet. Hey, and if we missed anybody, please let us know.
Yeah, of course. We did miss people. I know.
Oh, yeah, we absolutely did.
Every time we do this draft, we're going to forget somebody.
I bet Reed Ferd's going to come out with one of those fucking tennis – excuse my language – one of those freaking tennis guys that we missed. But not a big fan of tennis.
What?
Excuse my language.
Gigi, put the mute on. Put the mute button on.
Sorry about that.
But here's we get out of here real quick. That was our Fat Cats draft. Obviously, let us know, like Ward said in the comments, who you thought should be on there, who we left out, all that good stuff. As we move on and wrap up the show here, we got Pet Peeve of the Week, Ward, and I'm gonna let you have this one.
Yep. I know for time's sake, we got to move quick. I'll go ahead and run through this very quick. My pet peeve of the week is the people that are too cheap and too opinionated to buy an iPhone. If your text messages come through as green, you are just a group chat ruiner. You just ruin group chats. You ruin the vibe when your text come through as green. Nobody wants you to be in the group chat. So stick it. Just put your thoughts aside. Buy an iPhone.
I like it. Agreed. Nobody ruins a group text quicker than somebody with an Android. But my pet peeve of the week is people who are sticklers at the fast checkout at grocery stores. Now I'm a loyal Food Line customer, Ward. So they've got the 12 items or less lane.
Mm-hmm.
I go in and check out. I'm meal prep and I'm doing all this stuff, so I don't get a lot of stuff. I've got probably 13 or 14 items in my cart.
Mm-hmm.
I get up to it, and the lady behind me goes, "Hey, sir, that's not 12 items." Dude, I've 13. Like, what are we talking about? Like, if you're in that much of a hurry, like, you probably don't need to be at Food Line right now. So, people who like count your items in the cart before you get to the 12 item or less checkout
Don't have much going on. I can tell you that.
That's my pet peeve of the week. And full plate, empty stomach here, Ward. My full plate, I'm going to get it out of the way, is Melvin Gordon. I did not think Melvin Gordon would play football again. He just signed a contract with the Ravens, 1 year, $3.1 million. So shout out to Melvin Gordon, man.
Good for Melvin Gordon. My full plate of the week is actually going to be U.S. women's soccer. U.S. women's soccer team is chasing a three-peat, their third World Cup championship in a row. It has never been done before, and we just won our first game. We beat Vietnam, I believe it was, or Vietnam, or I think it was Venezuela or somebody like that. We beat the hell out of them. So USA, baby.
My empty stomach, I've got two. So Sal Frelick, I think that's his name. He had his MLB debut for the Brewers a few days ago, Ward. His mom missed his ML debut because she couldn't get a dog sitter. Ooh. In this game, he went 3 for 3, drove in the go-ahead run in a victory. So I do want to ask you, how mad would you be at your mom if she missed your game because she couldn't get a dog sitter?
I'd be pretty upset. Just put the dog out in the yard, it'll be all right. But good for that guy.
And my second one real quick is Colin Coward. He did an entire segment on Shohei Ohtani mock trades. And he said that one team, I forget who it is, should trade every first-round pick they have for Shohei Ohtani. He didn't know that you can't trade draft picks in the MLB. So he found out live on air that you can't trade draft picks in the MLB.
I will say I have some sympathy for that guy because I'd probably do the same thing. But yeah, I feel you, man. You gotta if you're an actual legit reporter, you gotta know that stuff. But mine's gonna be the Boston Celtics for paying the second best player on your team the biggest contract in NBA history. I guess you got the money to spend, but I guess that'd be like, I don't know. Look, actually, I can't even relate to anybody else. I was about to throw something in there, but yeah, the Boston Celtics organization is my empty stomach.
I'll help you out, Ward. That would have been like Pippen getting more money than Michael.
There it is. Boom. Pippen getting more money, or Chris Bosh getting more money than LeBron and D Wade on the Heat.
So yeah, you got Batman making more, or Robin making more than Batman. That's all it is. But as we get out of here, I want to remind everybody real quick, you can find us at the Fat Cats Podcast. That's KATZ. Find us on Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. God, I almost lost it. At Fat Cats Pod. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. And as we get out of here, Ward, give me your song of the week.
Cam, I didn't come up with one this week. I was rushing, so I'll let you go ahead and go. I'll come up with one while you're talking real quick.
Gotcha. So I'm going to go All the Gold in California. This is a Sturgill Simpson version. It just debuted on Righteous Gemstones last week. For everybody who knows me, Sturgill Simpson is like my second favorite artist of all time. So All the Gold in California by Sturgill Simpson is my song of the week.
Perfect. And Cam, right when you said that, I pulled up my most recent song I listened to when I was on the way home from work today. I listened to If Heaven Ain't a Lot Like Dixie by Hank Williams Jr. So if you haven't heard that song, hell of a song. Check it out. Hank Jr. is a legend. That's my song of the week. Hey, time-wise, the boys got to run. Hell of a podcast, Cam. Thank you for all of our listeners. Check the boys out. If you made it this far, me and Cam got you a beer.
Peace.